Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood.
And we're live. And David's not back. I'm Wes. This guy is Matt. That guy used to be David, and he's out today. He's apparently too good for us. So we're just gonna switch back to the main camera. Matt, how you been? It's been a while since you've been on the show.
I have been laid up with a sore tooth that is now
Oh,
gone.
that
It's out of my head.
They just ripped it out.
Well, real quick, and I'll tell you, I took the tooth, I put it in a cup of peroxide to, get everything cleaned off of it, and
You were gonna keep it?
yeah, I didn't want to gross my wife out though, so I stuck it behind in the shower so that she wouldn't see it. Well,
I don't want to gross my wife out, so I stuck my old dead tooth in the
it
shower.
was in a cup of peroxide.
In a cup of peroxide in the shower, because that's someplace your wife never goes.
Right. Well, I thought I had till morning, but no, she decided to take an evening shower. So next thing I know, she's screaming. She had knocked it over and stepped on it. Oh my God, she was so upset.
I would call that a problem.
Somehow,
I don't want to freak out my wife, but she stepped on my old dead tooth that I left in the shower.
It was my fault. I'm not sure how I could have done this differently.
Maybe don't put it in the shower.
Where else would I put it?
What? Anywhere.
That actually makes sense. I could have put it in the garage.
Could put it in the garage. You could have put it in any place other than the shower.
Wish I'd given that more thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure your wife is thinking the same thing about her wedding day.
Yeah, I guarantee it.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So how your summer's going for the last month? I haven't seen you.
Going pretty well. Been busy. So the business is going well. By the way, go to underdogplus.com and get your delicious Underdog brew bones. So, right now I'm in the phase where I need to scale or die. So I am...
already at scale or die.
Right. I'm at capacity for as many as I can make for the orders we have coming in.
That's amazing.
It's a great problem to have. So I'm basically in the process of scaling up so I can get more treats out there. So again, get your Underdog bones while you can. Go to underdogplus.com.
Are you going to get a ghost kitchen?
I'm thinking about it. They're expensive though. Ghost kitchens are real expensive. I'm not sure we're quite to that revenue level yet.
Okay.
But yeah, it's on the roadmap.
Well, you could do like Breaking Bad, and when they're gassing a house, you could pay them to leave it for an extra day. You go in, you do your baking, you're out of there.
Right, they'd come back and their house smells like delicious, peanut butter snickerdoodles or apple or pumpkin. It'll be they'll be pleasantly surprised.
And you're still not recommending them for humans?
Legally, I can't.
Oh, they're so good.
Legally, I can't.
I really actually enjoy them. I enjoy the texture and I enjoy the subtle flavor.
Right, they're great for your teeth. The crunchy, so they're good for your teeth and give you a nice shiny coat.
Now I know why my one tooth broke.
There you go. Your nose is always wet. I think you're doing well.
It has been wet all the time.
See,
yeah.
You're doing well.
Yeah, my joints, they feel looser than ever.
Right, you're wagging that tail as I see you walk by.
You want to see an angry dog though? Eat one of them in front of your dog.
Eat your dog's treats in front of the dog.
God.
The dog doesn't like that.
The dog does not like that. Not at all. It's hilarious.
I can see that being a problem. David is in the comments. He says, not weird at all. So, David, I hope you're doing okay. We don't know where you are, but I assume you're being held up because of the global outage, by the way. So, Matt and I were just talking about that before the show. So, this global outage, for anybody who hasn't heard this, let me get the screen pulled up here. is nuts. It's actually the biggest IT outage in history. So it only affects Microsoft machines, but a company called CrowdStrike, which already is a bad name. You don't want an IT security company called CrowdStrike.
That's the IT security company they're using?
CrowdStrike.
That does not sound good.
No, it's not the best name. Maybe we should talk about naming and branding once in a while. I don't think we've done that a million times yet. But CrowdStrike is an IT company, IT security. They mostly work with Microsoft machines, and again, usually not individuals, but large corporations, airlines, banks, hospitals are all being affected by this thing. And it's not a hack. It's actually a piece of bad code that was released. Essentially, there was one piece of code on one part of the system that had been released maybe a couple weeks ago, and then I think it was yesterday or this morning, they released a second piece of code that didn't play well with the first piece of code. And essentially, what happens is all of the machines that have this installed are in a constant startup loop, where the startup screen loads, it can't load, so it starts up again. Blue screen of death across the board. So for every server, and not just server stack, individual server that has this installed, every machine that has this installed, they can't push out a global update. You actually have to go in to each individual machine and server and manually start up in safe mode and install the fix. There are, on a Friday, there can be a lot of really pissed off IT people out there. Can you imagine working in IT this weekend? Wow.
The guy who did this.
Right. Somewhere there's one guy at this company, CrowdStrike, who's like, whoops.
That feels like something you would create to disperse protesters.
CrowdStrike. It does sound like a pepper spray.
Yeah.
Or like a stink bomb or something.
Yeah, CrowdStrike.
So David says, sounds like a Ford Mustang, leaving car. CrowdStrike. There you go.
Oh, they've got him on the drugs. He's probably in the drug place.
He says that he is not. Because I know he's not, because he just said this is the result of efficiency. David is on war against efficiency. Not that he doesn't like efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
He just hates when people talk about efficiency as the most important thing.
Right.
He's more about effectiveness. And I agree.
Yes, I agree too.
We're going to make a t-shirt that says effectiveness and then a line, efficiency. Effectiveness over efficiency.
The college that I attend that canceled my class that is so unbelievably critical has lost, what's 3 times 60? That's $180,000, at least $180,000 because of it. Because I've had 3 people approach me about Columbus College at Place and say, should I send my kid there? Or I'm thinking about going there. There's actually 2, should I send my kid, and 1, I'm thinking about going there. And I'm like, oh, hell no. They're canceling classes to pay for a building.
Yeah.
Now, this was a spreadsheet decision with no thought about the overall effect that will have on me and my big-ass mouth.
Well, colleges and universities, if they cared, you're right, they would care. But they don't care.
They don't care.
Because not only are they getting unbelievable amounts of tuition from every other student, but they're also all government subsidized. They don't care.
They're actually looked at their financials. Their government subsidies are low compared to everything else. I was really surprised how poorly they do recruiting government.
Well, it fluctuates. So what you look at is in down years, it's going to go up. In up years, it's going to go down.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Right.
I was
So
only looking at 1 year.
It fluctuates.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So and that's how they keep the books flat.
Yeah.
And they're that's what they do. It's an art school also. I mean, look, I went to art school, so
You went to that art.
I went to that art school, so believe me, I'm allowed to shit talk them.
So disappointed in them. So disappointed.
Well, I have a lot of comments about the school. I loved my time there. I spent a lot of my parents' money there, and I spent a lot of my own money there, and I think I turned out okay. No comments. But CrowdStrike, I would not want to work for that company this weekend. That's nuts, man.
Yeah, nobody's going home.
I wouldn't want to be in their legal team. Holy moly. Because here's the problem. Because it's affecting airlines, banks, medical industries. There are literally people who couldn't make bank transfers. Their airlines are grounded across the country.
United, yeah.
All of them. If you look at the map of all the little lines going across the country, I mean, it just gradually throughout the day just went blank. There's nothing there because almost all of the airlines are down right now.
Jeez.
It's nuts.
Let me ask you
There
a
are
question
companies
about
losing
this.
billions of dollars.
So crowds like I'm assuming would be bonded, right?
Okay.
But is there any type of bond that would cover this amount of damage?
Well, I mean, probably not this amount of damage. I mean, if you look at their stock, it's tanking right now.
Oh yeah.
So people are selling off like crazy. Let's see. David says full ground stop today from the FAA. So yeah. So apparently the FAA grounded everything because of this.
See, early this morning, a bunch of airlines were still running, so this must have it was early.
Yeah, I actually have my current wife's niece. So my niece-in-law is flying back to Australia tomorrow, and they're thinking she might not make her flight tomorrow because nobody can check in.
I guarantee you nobody's.
And also, if they have to manually update each machine and each server, it's going to take forever. Yeah. My brother-in-law works for a really big grocery store chain, like nationwide grocery store chain, and he's in their logistics department. And he was saying that some of their servers, they don't even have the admin credentials to get into some of them. They're so old and just been forgotten about.
Wow.
And that's a modernized company. Imagine something like the FAA or certain airlines or ground control
and Major Tom
and Major Tom, exactly, all of those guys. So here's the problem. So I think first they're going to get sued by big companies like Microsoft. Microsoft is obviously the machines that are affected.
Yeah.
They're going to get screwed by them. On top of that, they're going to have to declare bankruptcy because of the next several years. They're going to be sued one by one by all of these companies who are losing millions, if not billions of dollars.
I'm surprised they're not declaring bankruptcy right now.
They should have done it this afternoon.
Yes,
you know what, guys?
We're done.
We're out. Just take the money and run.
Yeah.
That's it.
We'll be somewhere they don't have extradition.
Well, I also think we're going to feel the blowback from this for a number of at least months anyway, because here's something else. With an outage this big, it's a superstorm. It's a giant hurricane blowing through the middle of the country. Imagine the hackers that are jumping on this right now. Imagine the people who are trying to embezzle money and trying to figure out a way to hide it right now. They're bricking machines on purpose to say, well, I don't know what happened. I guess all that money just disappeared somewhere into the net. I promise you that's happening. Because I'll tell you why. If you look, I mentioned hurricanes because if you look at hurricanes, that is the number one time when people went missing who had threats on their lives previously. Criminals look for times like that specifically to get rid of people they want to get rid of. Because they can blame the disappearance on, it's a storm, it's a tornado, it's an outage, it's, my cheating wife who had this great life insurance policy. Oh no, she just disappeared during this storm. My current wife, by the way, don't take that as a threat. It's an example.
Your current wife is so in love with you, it's ridiculous.
Well, and she could do better. I tell her that all the time. We all know it.
You know the thing is, though, I don't think she really believes that she can do better.
And that's the key. See, here's what you got to do. You got to find somebody who that they can do better than you, but somehow convince them, brainwash them, if you will, that you're the only one for them.
I thought for sure my wife couldn't do better than for me.
Oh,
then she stepped on my tooth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She knows she can do better than you. It didn't.
Did it before, she does now.
It didn't take her embedding your tooth into the sole of her foot to realize she can do better than you.
She was so bad.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. It's almost like you deliberately left it there just to freak her out.
I was trying to be a good husband. Not my finest moment.
No.
I've had better.
That's. I mean, if we're April 1st, then I could see you doing that. That would make more sense.
I honestly have no tooth now. She threw it away.
Why'd you want to save it?
I thought Hiroshi might want it.
Why would he want your tooth?
He collects weird things like dead bugs and bones, and he uses them in his art.
Okay, fair enough. David, I'll get to that question in 1 second. Hey, it's Locke. How you doing, buddy? Oh, don't trip over that. Okay. How's it going, buddy?
Good.
What you got there?
It's my spider identification thing.
Oh, your spider identification guide. That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Show it on screen so everybody can see what book that is.
You don't give me a wave?
Spider identification guide. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And Catherine, what do you got?
My puppy.
You got a unicorn puppy. I love it. You guys are awesome.
Do you have 2 unicorn puppies?
No.
Just one.
I have 2 kitty unicorns.
She has a unicorn kitty and a unicorn puppy now.
Unikitty,
Unikitty, of course.
No, I have 2.
to...
Well, sure.
Okay.
That's perfect. Awesome, guys.
Oh, the ants are out.
Oh yeah, the ants are hungry.
They're marching.
I also wanted to show you.
2 by 2. Hurrah,
That's
hurrah.
the witch spider?
Mm.
Oh, nice. That's going to be fun to see.
Oh yeah, he's got a whole list of spiders that we gotta see and collect.
Yeah.
Do you hear what Matt did to his wife? He had a tooth pulled and he left it in a jar of peroxide in the shower, and she knocked it over and didn't realize it was there. He thought he thought of putting it in the shower so his wife wouldn't see it, not thinking that she would actually take a shower.
She stepped on my rotted ass tooth.
This whole story is.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That seems like it's my fault, right?
I don't see how it's anyone else's fault.
I'm Sam.
All right, guys.
But I've met you before. So
Cool bookmark.
surprises me.
I love you, buddy.
Two,
Mwah.
get the stuff out. Come on, honey.
It's awesome. Good. What are you doing? Good.
Night, buddy.
Okay. Good night, guys. Here, take
Here's
this.
your puppy bed.
Okay.
Are you filming this too?
The world is watching right now.
I think 2 people are watching.
The whole world.
The
is
whole
watching.
entire world is watching.
Possible.
It's possible.
Well, there is 100,000 people in Germany who watch the show every year. Ish.
No, that's Dad. No.
Hey, by the way, David says hi.
Hi, David.
He's held up in a hospital somewhere.
What?
We don't know why.
It's just like a normal checkup or something. But I think he's being held. He's been there. He's still there because of the outage.
Oh.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
I think he's there with something serious like gangrene. Or,
He's got
Are you
gangrene.
guys live?
Yes, we're live right now.
Yeah, he's got the gangrene.
My niece is supposed to fly back to Australia
We were just
tomorrow.
talking
We were
about
just
that.
talking about that.
Yeah, she can't check in.
Yeah, nobody can though. FAA grounded everything right now.
She's welcome to stay with us.
We don't want her to leave.
No, she's not going anywhere for a while.
All right.
Right.
Yeah, nobody's going anywhere for a while. That's true.
Yeah.
David asked what we're drinking. So my neighbor goes on vacation. He keeps bringing me back IPAs. It's very nice of him. He brought me back Ocean View IPA from Ocean View Brewing Company. Pretty convenient. It's pretty tasty. It's a typical IPA. Tasty. It's refreshing if you like IPAs. Matt, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking Jameson's because it's dark over there and I couldn't tell any of the bottles except for Jameson's.
Yeah, I'm out of 10 cup. I need to get some more. There you go. David, I know you're in the hospital. What are you drinking? Let us know in the comments.
I finally tried Buffalo Trace.
Well, so Buffalo Trace is a distillery. They make a whole line of.
Well, it was the one that's not expensive that everybody wants that nobody can find.
Oh, okay.
My dad had a bottle and he can't drink anymore, so he gave me the bottle.
Nice. You still got it?
No, I drank it when I was up in Michigan with him for a week.
Well, as long as you don't call it Chernobyl.
Oh no, it was delicious.
Chernobyl
Yeah,
swill.
it's the same brewery though, right? It's the horse one over there,
It is not.
or the same distillery rather.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not.
No.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
But I'm glad you like it.
I really did.
Yeah.
It was not as good as Weller, but it was really good.
Yeah, I have some Weller somewhere. It's upstairs, I think.
Yeah, I freaking love Weller. That's so good.
So yeah, but you are not allowed to have Blanton's anymore.
Oh God,
It's
no,
not for
I
you.
don't- Yeah, I'm good for that. So bad.
Oh man. All right. So we do have a little bit more news. Here's another one. So the last one with the CrowdStrike was not hacker involved. There's another hacker involved one though that I think most people haven't really heard about. This has actually been pretty hush hush. So nearly all of AT&T's cell customers' call and text records have been exposed in a massive breach.
Ooh.
Wow, that's a big one, and especially since most people haven't heard of this.
What if you delete them?
They've kept this very hush. It's already leaked. It didn't matter.
No, I mean you deleted them prior to the leak,
Oh, well, this was hacked from AT&T's servers.
so you could still have a lot of stuff stored on there.
Oh yeah, that's still stored there.
They should not store that stuff there.
Well, that's where they store the records. Where else are they going to store
They
the
should
records?
Keep records.
Companies shouldn't keep records.
No, they should keep records of your text messages.
It's their data. That's what people don't realize. Whenever you send dirty pictures to your wife or to somebody else that your wife doesn't know about,
That would
it's
be wrong.
or first of all, that's morally reprehensible. Secondly,
Nobody wants to see that.
everything you send doesn't belong to you anymore. It belongs to the phone company.
I'd prefer that not be the case.
Right. So imagine how many we'll say what's the eggplant emoji? How many eggplant emoji real life images AT&T owns of random people now? And actually, all those hackers have now. And here's what makes it even worse, though. So not only did this hack happen, nearly all of AT&T's cell customers' call and text records are exposed. But on top of that, it was the hack was performed by a hacking organization. I don't think they have the name here in the.
Why though? Why not get a regular job?
Anyway, so these hackers they were overseas, Eastern Europe, and this is their job. This is what they do. They wanted about $400,000 from AT&T. AT&T paid them. So now, these companies have more of an incentive to do this again. AT&T paid the $400,000 to the hackers, who said they promise they got rid of the data.
They didn't get rid of the data.
They didn't get rid of the data, AT&T. Come on, AT&T, are you that dim?
With terrorists.
You don't negotiate with terrorists. On top of that,
can't they isolate where they are and bomb them?
they know where they are. Who AT&T? Yeah, AT&T has bombers on hand.
Well, they should.
I'm sure other phone companies are glad they don't.
Back in my day, Ma Bell, when they were the only phone company around, they had bombers. You didn't mess with Ma Bell.
David says he's drinking a Shasta. So
he is. He's in the hospital. He's in the hospital. They serve those little half cans of Shasta. Oh my God, Dave's in the hospital, and the hospital shut down. It's like The Walking Dead.
There you go. I like a Shasta. It's an underrated drink.
But that's what they have in the hospitals. They serve Shasta in those little half cans.
Well, so no. Here's what you do: you get the little half can of Shasta. You pull out your flask with some gin in it. You got yourself a nice drink.
Yeah, that's true. So we should run some gin over to Dave.
Dave,
he's going to be in the
he's not a
hospital
gin drinker.
a while.
He's not a gin drinker.
At this point, I think he'd take anything.
He would take a gin. He's not hipster enough to drink gin.
No, he's not.
No.
I don't drink that gin.
Yeah. Although, all he has to do though, he's like one step away. Grow the mustache of his beard out and curl it on the ends. He's a gin drinker.
Oh yeah, that is
immediate. Oh, he just says he loves gin. Oh, that's surprising. David, I didn't know that about you. Okay, I love gin too. We'll have to have a gin night.
Dave, are you in the hospital? Blink once if they're holding you against your will.
Well,
I guess we shouldn't shut up and watch
yeah.
Screen.
Well, one of his comments was a bunch of eggplants, so
Dave, that's disgusting.
I'm sure he's in the hospital. But here's the thing: so nearly all of the customer data has been leaked. They paid the hackers, who said they promise they deleted the data.
How big of a group do you?
Which means if you are a cell customer with AT&T, all of your data now is on the dark web, guaranteed, 100% guaranteed. AT&T, I'm sorry, send your lawyers after me. It's a fact.
Do you remember when Ashley Madison got hacked and they sent those freaking records to wives?
That was cool. That was a cool move.
It was an interesting move.
I got to admit, I don't have a problem with that. When there's a website that's solely dedicated to men cheating on their wives,
It was both ways, women and men cheating.
it's mostly men.
There's a lot of women who cheat too. Don't undersell them.
It's mostly men.
When you have a
Look,
husband like me.
all right, when there's a website dedicated to cheating spouses,
All right, let's go with that.
cheating spouses, I don't feel bad that they get caught.
Yeah,
I don't. I have zero sympathy for any of the people in Ashley Madison.
Yeah.
Zero sympathy. But if you're just a regular customer of AT&T, I kind of feel bad for you right now.
But at this point, my wife stepped on it too. She should probably start looking around.
I promise you she's looking around right now.
It's probably a good idea.
Yeah, she's...
I would so get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey man, I'm not leaving you, but I'm gonna have something going on the side. Please don't call during these hours. That makes sense to me.
I wouldn't blame her.
Yeah.
I wouldn't blame her.
Yeah. I wouldn't invite Ted over.
Right, you're not gonna have drinks with the guy.
It's gonna be Ted.
Ted sounds right.
Ted's always the guy.
It's always Ted.
It's always a Ted.
Ted.
Ted or Carlos.
Carlos?
Yeah, there's always a Carlos involved.
Okay.
They're suave.
Okay.
Dapper.
Is he? I'm picturing like a guy dressed like a bullfighter.
Yeah, well, kind of.
He's got the tight pants and the frilly shirt.
The skinny dress pants.
The frilly shirt that's unzipped down to here, unbuttoned down to here, and has the fur on the chest. That's Carlos.
Yeah, that's
okay,
Carlos.
there you go. Look, David says Juan, so he's had the same thoughts. And none of us would blame Nikki if she decided to do better.
I can't believe she has.
Yeah, David says that all the time.
Yes.
David says that all the time, and she's not watching the show, so it's okay.
Dave, are you in hospital for 6 weeks and didn't communicate at all. Because every time he's in the hospital, people give him money. Yeah. The first time he was in the hospital, he got money. And so now he doesn't tell people when he goes in the hospital.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, look. I'll go into the hospital just so somebody will give me money. That'd be great.
That's so
If
nice.
somebody would pay me to go to the hospital,
I'd be there
I'm in.
every day.
It's unfortunately I'm just too healthy.
Yeah, I farted and I don't know why it shouldn't be like that. Can I get checked in?
Actually, everybody who's been around you says every time you fart, you should go to the hospital.
Yeah,
like
they-
something is wrong with
Like,
you.
Matt, something died inside you.
Right. You know how they say like right before somebody's gonna die of a terrible disease,
Yeah.
they just smell. You
Yeah.
can smell it on them.
That's what Becky tells me all the time. That's on my rotted ass tooth.
Yeah, that sounds right.
For the record, my tooth wasn't rotten. I bit into a jelly bean and literally the top of my tooth popped off.
Did you have a cap?
No. That
Did
was
you
the
have a
amazing
filling?
thing. It just ripped in half.
That's not supposed to happen.
That's what I said.
You brush, right?
Yes, I got a.
I don't. I'm just making
got
sure.
an
I don't know.
Aqua Pick and I got a Philips Sonicare. I mean, I brushed the hell out of my teeth.
Okay, just make. Well, you're at the age where you're gonna start losing a lot of teeth. Did they try and replace it? You just got an empty spot
in the
there.
back, and I'm like, they were going to charge me like almost, God, it was some astronomical amount of money to replace this thing.
Mm.
And I'm like, I'm going to be dead before I get any real value out of that. So no.
No, fair enough.
Just pull the damn thing.
Have them replaced with a solid gold tooth. Be like
The old
like pimp.
man, yeah.
Right.
Hey, I got a tooth.
exact. See?
So, but all right. So the dentist, the oral surgeon, numbs me up like crazy. Ellis and Ellis oral surgeons, freaking believably amazing. But he touches the tooth, and it's still pretty bad. About jump out of the seat, right?
Yeah.
So he puts his elbow over me and braces me down, kind of gets on top and shoves that needle through my tooth into the nerve.
That's how he had to numb it?
Yeah, and
I would have
I'm
said
about
put me to
ready
sleep.
Kill him.
I would have said put me to
But,
sleep.
Like 2 seconds later, it was completely numb.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there breathing, trying to get myself under control because he was about to die.
I might have punched him.
But it's the only way you could get the damn thing numb.
No,
Like,
no.
Get ready.
Nope. I would need a bottle of gin. Just give me a bottle of gin. About 5 minutes and a bottle of gin. I'll take care of that by myself.
I thought about it. It was getting so bad, and I was having trouble getting in anywhere.
Yeah.
But anyway, Dave's in the hospital. Let's try to figure out why.
We can all speculate. Anybody watching and listening, leave in the comments down below why you think David's in the hospital. And this could be a fun game.
I'm thinking gallbladder.
Gallbladder.
Yeah, he's got to have his gallbladder out.
Okay, fair enough.
Laparoscopically, of course.
Yes, but you have been ringing. Okay.
I've been having a lot of trouble talking lately.
That's not a good sign.
Well, you know, I still stutter like crazy. But
Look,
I've been trying to do creative writing because I got it next semester,
Mhm.
and I'm forgetting how to spell an awful lot of words.
it's not a good sign.
There's a section of my brain that might be dead. Like the word section's starting to die.
It's not a good sign.
Well, I'm 55. How long can you expect to live anyway?
Look, in about 40 years, you'll be eligible to run for president.
Yeah.
So you'll be there you go.
Can walk in
You're
circles.
a shoo-in already.
Yeah.
You're a shoo-in already. Look, it's really killing me that we can't talk about one, politics, and two, political conspiracy theories on this show, because holy moly, of all the times to be alive in the world, I'm actually starting to be convinced the Matrix is just breaking down. There's a glitch in the Matrix. The whole thing is just crumbling around us. That explains so much.
I do have.
If I see Keanu Reeves flying through the sky, it's proof.
I do have something super exciting to say about the Matrix.
Hmm.
ChatGPT, when used properly, is so helpful.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a tool.
I have, like today, somebody was asking me about a political thing, and I thought, you know what, ChatGPT is not going to be coming across super one way or the other. So I asked it some basic questions.
I disagree with that, but okay, go ahead.
Well, and then I asked it, it gives me the answer, and I says, "Are you sure this is the answer?" Absolutely. And he says, ChatGPT says it's based off trends in data. And then I said, okay, and I know what you're saying, and I agree, absolutely agree, because I looked it up and it wasn't entirely right.
Yeah.
I said, are you liberal? And it gave me a canned answer.
Right.
And I said, are you a Republican? And it gives me a canned answer.
Right.
The exact same answer.
Right.
And then I said, I think beavers are breaking into my house and stealing my vodka. And this is the weird thing. It knew I was kidding, and it started to play along with me.
Yeah, they'll do that.
That was really cool and spooky at the same time.
Have you used the speech feature?
Yes, I have it on my phone.
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
It's pretty
really
good. The
yeah.
ChatGPT 4.0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. I was doing this role play thing where we were camping and we were trying to get Bigfoot with apples.
Okay.
We're trying to make a Bigfoot trap with apples. I was driving, so I was doing it to entertain myself.
So you were talking to ChatGPT
Yeah.
for fun. Okay. I'm picturing.
It was actually really enjoyable.
I'm picturing you as the real life Joaquin Phoenix in Her.
And
Do you know the movie?
No.
It's funny. It's a movie about Joaquin Phoenix who gets a new AI on his phone and falls in love with it, and it has the voice of Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, see, I could absolutely see that.
See, and they based the voice on ChatGPT 4.0 on Scarlett Johansson, who threatened to sue them. I think they paid her off, but she was actually going to sue them.
Oh, get over yourself, Scarlett.
Well, she had a pretty good case. We're not going to get into it here, but she had a pretty good case.
I know, but we dated for a while, and she always wants to sue people.
Well, I look. She's never done it for me, mainly because she can't make up her mind on her last name. Is it Johansson? Is it Johansson? I don't know. She doesn't know, so it's not. She's not for me.
I just called her Scarlet Bell. Scarlet Bell. That was my little nickname.
Scarlet Bell.
Yeah, Scarlet Bell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did she step on one of your teeth and realize she could do better?
Yeah, that's when she left me.
That's what I figure.
Can you imagine any other woman putting up with that?
No, I can't.
Really can't.
No, I can't. This is so, David. This is what the show devolves into when you're not around. Should be pretty happy about that.
I feel so bad.
As you should.
Has he said anything about? Has he said gallbladder?
No, he's at the hospital. He's probably speaking to a doctor right now.
Oh, doctor, it hurts when I do this. Well, don't do that.
There you go. I think inflamed big toe.
Oh,
that's what I'm going with.
Yeah.
Ingrown toenail.
Oh God, those are awful.
See, it happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was when you're in the military and you get one, they don't screw around. They yank the whole damn toenail out.
Ooh, that's not good.
And then they cauterize it with silver nitrate so it doesn't grow back.
What?
Yeah. Only mine grew back, and it's the ugliest damn toe It's so ugly. I'm proud of it. It's horrendous.
Another reason why your wife should leave you, because you got a jacked up toe, and you talk about it openly.
So jacked up.
No.
But when Katie was little, she would come over and try to touch it, and I'd go like that, and she'd run, and
it's so scary. It frightens children.
Yeah.
That's bad.
And then she'd come back over, try to touch it, and I'd go, and she'd run. And she was real little, a little toddler. I miss that. She's 15 now.
Yeah, she's running from you for whole different reasons now.
She's just so mean.
15-year-old.
So mean.
Yeah. I told my current wife when my daughter's a teenager, I'm moving out.
Oh, I don't blame you. You need to fortify this basement, and everything you need to live needs to be down here.
It's true. I got all the dog treats I can handle. I can eat. I'm set. I got fiber coming out the wazoo, which I think is where fiber comes out of, actually. So
just put a toilet in the sump pump, you'll be set.
I know people who've done that. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. That's what happens when you grow up in the country. People do stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we do actually have an agenda. Should we get to the agenda?
Yeah.
And you probably have some good feedback on some of this stuff. So this is the 3 marketing secrets, and it's marketing branding, kind of crossover there. 3 marketing secrets. Not this though.
All right.
Not this though.
Oh, I guarantee it.
Maybe.
I liked my professor, but it was extraordinarily not free market.
Oh, he went the other way.
Yeah.
Why is he in marketing? Why is he teaching marketing?
Because he has been in marketing.
He's not free market, but he teaches marketing.
But it's all been charitable marketing.
Oh, yeah. And since he worked in the nonprofit field, he thinks everybody should not worry about making a profit.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yep.
That's going to work out well. That's actually worked out really well for a lot of other countries historically around the world. I'll let you be the judge of that one. So this is the 3 marketing secrets that you need to know, and these are mostly like psychological secrets that a lot of companies don't talk about. All right, you got to get loaded before we talk about this. Right. Got it. So, David, again, this is what happens to the show when you're not around. I hope you're proud of yourself.
Turn your head and cough.
Nope. I'm glad you don't have a mic at this point.
Well, that's what they do when you're in the hospital.
But I am convinced that the matrix is breaking down. The simulation is breaking down. And at some point, we're all just going to just blip out of existence. We won't know, though, so it's okay.
I'm good with a blip.
Right. Exactly. All right. So, marketing secret number one, nobody tells you about, is brand over product. When consumers make purchase decisions, they often pay for the brand itself rather than the actual product, which is a real thing. So
I know.
think about it. Your shoes. You know, people, maybe not you. I see your shoes. A lot of people with nice shoes.
These are great shoes. These are the Hokas.
But you bought Hokas. My wife has Hokas.
Yeah, they're super comfortable.
Right, but you probably partially at least paid for the name.
Oh,
When people go out and they'll buy Nikes because of the name.
Yeah.
They'll buy Ray-Bans because of the name. They'll pay $150 for a T-shirt that says Supreme on it.
There's a brand of tennis shoes that are really good that I will not wear because they seem like they're more for old people, and I'm not ready to cross that bridge.
What are they?
New Balance.
You're not the New Balance dad. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just not ready to go there. So I got the super hip Hokas.
Okay.
Because they were on sale. And I take my feet really seriously because I've had plantar fasciitis. So those Columbias that I swore by had went up $40. I'm not paying $140 for a pair of sneakers. But these things were $70. And they're every bit as comfortable.
Okay. My current wife uses those, and I'd never heard of the brand before about a year ago. And everybody loves them. Everybody who wears them loves them.
So good.
There you go.
Super cushiony.
Yeah, go figure.
Although the people at school say I sound like Squidward when I walk because
Are they squeaky?
Yeah, because of the tread.
David said he could hear you. He's just ignoring you.
Okay.
Fair enough. So brand over product, and that's an important one. And it's more branding than marketing, but it goes into the idea that you don't a lot of companies do this. That you don't need to spend every dollar you have in your company building the absolute best product you have. You should put out the best product you can, but a lot of times all you need is some hype marketing. Look at I got up there some bottles of Prime. That's a no pun intended, a prime example of the brand being more important than the product. The product, it's okay. It's basically a slightly better tasting Gatorade because they use a different electrolyte.
Yep.
But that's it. The product itself is not that great. But the marketing,
like Chernobyl runoff.
But the marketing is great.
Yeah.
You know. So brand over product. Work on your brand, and we've done billions of shows, actually almost 400 shows at this point, talking about how important brand is. But brand over product is the secret number one, and it really works.
So I had a customer back when I sold food, and I won't say the name, who it was a Euro place, and they used the absolute top of the line Euro cone on the market. In Columbus, Ohio, you do not need the absolute top of the line Euro cone anywhere because you're going to put tzatziki sauce on your Euro, and that will become the primary flavor. The Euro cone needs to have the right texture, and it needs to have the right background flavor. But you don't need to spend the extra $30 back then per case for these high-end cones. They're called cones. So I sold them the next step down. Very proud of what they were using.
Sure.
But they were spending so much more money on them. So they took the step down for a week, and they got all these compliments. Actually, that week they got more compliments. And it was really, I think, more psychological for them.
Sure.
But they didn't need that level of product. Now, if they were in Chicago, yes, that's different. Chicagoans expect a really specific taste. But in Columbus, nobody knows.
You're right. You're right. Exactly. So, I mean, yeah, it was
a great move for them.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense. So that actually brings up number two. So I think you're jumping ahead a little bit, which is price perception matters. Okay. So surprisingly, the more expensive a product is, the less likely people are to try and negotiate the price.
Yeah.
And which is super weird. One thing that I've found is my dog breeds. Underdog Plus, Brew Bones. Go to underdogplus.com and pick some up. Your pup will thank you. But one thing that I found is that, I mentioned I'm at capacity. So I am making all that I possibly can right now for the customers that I have. which means I have to do one of two things. I have to scale up production so I can make a lot more, or I need to raise prices for the customers who want them. That's called supply and demand.
Right.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
So I am doing both. Unfortunately, I did have to raise prices slightly, but this is something I should have done a long time ago. I raised prices from $8 to $10. And what I found was I've actually sold more since I raised the price.
Yes, and you know why? This whole time, I thought they were $10. I did.
Yeah.
I thought they were $10 from the beginning because that's what they're worth.
Yeah.
They're worth $10.
Right.
Even though they're dog treats. And in my world, I grew up where dogs were dogs.
And men were
Treats are
men.
so good that they're worth that money.
Well, they're a premium product. They are really good. I could go into about all the things that I think make them great, but you're right. But that's the weird thing. So there's a book from Robert Cialdini called not Friction. That's a different book.
The photo book?
No. Anyway, it's about the perception of creating a brand, and he has this story about a lady that he knew who had this like shop out in New Mexico, and one of the products she had was turquoise and silver jewelry.
Okay.
And for the longest time, the stuff that she couldn't sell, she'd stick in the bargain bin, and it would sit there forever. This turquoise jewelry, it was fine. It was typical stuff you see at any place in New Mexico, but she couldn't move the stuff. And she was talking to him about it, and eventually he's like, what you do is you triple the price, you put it under glass, you're gonna sell the crap out of this stuff. And she's like, you're crazy. It's never gonna happen. She did this. She couldn't keep it in stock. She sold so much of this stuff because just raising the price and putting it under glass made it seem psychologically as a premium product. People wanted it more because it seemed more unattainable. It seemed like something that was exclusive to them.
That's what I learned in studio art and entrepreneurship with Angelina Filipina, our teacher. She was outstanding, and she said, "When your art's not selling, raise the price."
That's it. That's exactly it.
Yep. And they canceled her class so damn quickly. It was amazing.
Really? Why is that?
Yeah, because they didn't want to They don't want to make the school into a bastion of capitalism.
Let's not. Okay, I got some complaints there.
How do you spell Robert's last name?
Cialladie. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, it's a great book. Really, really good book.
All right, I'm gonna look for it.
Robert Cialdini, something like that. It's an amazing book, but it's been a while since I've read it, obviously.
Have you ever read the book about why people buy, and it talks about retail? And one of the biggest things I learned in this book...
Influence. It's called Influence.
Okay.
Influence. Get the book Influence by Robert Cialdini.
One of the things I learned in this book is how stores make this huge mistake with blue jeans.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go in like Kohl's or any place that sells blue jeans, the fat sizes are on the bottom.
Okay.
Nobody who's heavy wants to bend the hell over and pick up those pants.
Okay.
So the heavier sizes need to be at eye level, so that the people like me who are heavier don't have to bend over.
See, I have the opposite problem. I've always had. See, David knows the book. Robert Cialdini. I spelled it wrong, but I had the right name. But the book is called Influence. I highly recommend it.
Okay.
It's an amazing book. Whether you're in sales, whether you're in marketing, I mean, everybody should read this book.
I'm currently reading Mastery. Duncan told me to read
Mastery. Okay. I don't know that one. But anyway, so the jeans, I've had the opposite problem. So I've always had a lean, slimmer waistline.
Your waist is the size of my thigh.
I exercise and do sit-ups. Yeah. But aside from that, I have the problem where I go to a store and I try and find jeans that fit, and they only have, the really, really, really gigantic sizes that could fit 3 of me. And they don't have any of the sizes that fit me, but they have a million of these larger ones. Yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, I know I'm not a buyer for a big retail company, but somewhere one of them has to be sitting by looking at their clearance rack and saying, we got a ton of this stuff. We sell a lot of this sizes here. Why don't we buy more of these and less of these? Like, you think the math would play itself out.
Even on the clearance racks, they don't have anything small.
They never do.
They've got a little section, but it's never like the
They
big
never
section.
do. Yeah, exactly. So come on, retail people, figure it out. You think the math would speak for itself?
Figure it out.
So,
Figure it out.
the price perception. Anyway, price perception matters. If you price something at a premium price, people are going to treat it like a premium product.
Yeah.
It's exclusive. It's hard to get.
It's so hard to do.
Mhm.
It is so hard to take that step.
It's scary for people who produce this stuff.
Yeah.
Because you're like, nobody's going to want to buy this stuff. No,
Right.
who's going to want to spend that money?
Self-doubt just comes crashing over you like a wave.
It does. And you, as an artist, you've done this.
Yeah. Yeah, but what do you got to lose?
Right, exactly. But that's how supply and demand works.
Yeah.
So, I recommend to everybody out there, the economy sucks right now. Everybody's pinching their pennies. What you need to do is raise your prices. It sounds counterintuitive.
No,
It sounds crazy. It sounds like you might feel like you're being callous. You don't want to rip off your customers. But I'm telling you, the economy is going to bounce back, and it's going to bounce back hard. And you want to be in a good position when that happens. So you need to raise your prices. Just saying. By the way, I'm not advocating for me raising my prices at Underdog Plus. But you do need to go to underdogplus.com and get some brew bones for your pup. They will thank you. Get a couple t-shirts too. I got some cool t-shirts designs.
$12.
I thought about going up to 12. I might have to eventually. I'm sorry, it's just how it works. Because the prices of everything are going up. All of my ingredients are going up. All of it. It's nuts. But
as soon as I win the next election, it's all coming down.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, again, in about 40 years, then you can run for president, and then
the
you can.
prices will come down.
Yeah. So in about 40 years, then we'll talk about that.
There's a form you can fill out when you're president that lowers the prices.
That's
it's a
they.
long form though. So that's a lot of work. My wife will help me fill it out.
The president's wife does much of their work for them right now. I'm not making comments about anyone, but it happens. So number 2 was price perception. We actually moved through these numbers a lot faster when it's just you and I. Just saying.
What's his last comment?
He says, like to amend that statement. David, I'm sure you'd like to amend many statements that we've made tonight, and you're not here, so...
I wish I was here. I ran into a problem today on a marketing call or sales call, and I did not know how to handle it, which is surprising for me.
Okay.
So I had looked at this company's website, and I wanted to do food pictures for them, right? Because their food pictures looked like they were taken by a chimpanzee with no arms that was holding the camera in his teeth while somebody beat it on the ground.
Right.
And I said, your broker had suggested I call you because it was a lead from her broker.
Sure.
And that you're at the stage now where you could have some professional photos done. And she said, all our photos are done by a professional.
Are you sure?
And
a professional what?
So caught off guard. Like their hero picture was done by professional. I get that. The rest of them were so bad, so incredibly bad.
Yeah.
What do you say? They honestly think they've got good pictures.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. What do you say? What do you say at that point? A professional what? I
said,
just because you hired your boss's niece to do the photos doesn't make it a professional shot.
And then it's almost exactly this. My cousin had done this.
See, it's always somebody's cousin
or an uncle or nephew
or like a niece everybody has like a niece who's really big on Facebook, so she does the social media, and it's terrible.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I said maybe I've got the wrong website here. So I wound up getting her off that subject and said, hey, if I can get your broker to give me a couple of samples, I'm going to go ahead and take a couple of photos and just send them over to you.
Yeah.
And see, I'll have to check with the owner to see if that's okay. And I'm like, is it frustrated already? I'm so glad I got out of sales, but now I'm back in it.
Yeah. No, you're right, though. So here's David's amended comment. He says it's about the price positioning. He says, if you have position yourself as a value brand, you will have a harder time in your customer base with price increases. And he's totally right. There's actually some really good examples of that happened recently, which is why we always recommend premium positioning. Which, yes, you need to position yourself as a premium product to begin with. I mean, it's not. Look, a retail discount retailer can't go out and jack up the prices. And there's some very, very big examples of that happening recently. First of all, I'm not going to mention names. All right, I will mention one name. Big Lots is right on the edge of filing for bankruptcy.
Yeah, everybody saw that coming.
No, well,
Everybody who watches this show saw that coming.
Well, they saw that coming when I left the company. So I had been doing their digital marketing in email. But one thing that they were trending towards when I left was becoming a premium retailer. Big Lots
that's stupid.
was trying to position themselves as a premium retailer, focusing mostly on furniture and mattresses. They really wanted to go that route because the markup was so much higher in furniture and mattresses. They were really focused hard on that. And here's the weird thing. They took that same positioning in their other products in stores. So historically, what they had done is they had bought closeout items from other stores.
Yeah.
And they resold them at remarkably low prices.
Right.
They stopped doing that for the most part, and instead they jacked up the prices of their regular stuff to the point to where in a lot of cases, their regular stuff was actually more expensive than other grocery stores. Don't ask me. It didn't make sense to me. But a lot of people stopped going to the stores and started going to the regular grocery stores. It was more affordable.
You get caught doing it once, and people are done.
You lose, right?
That quick.
And that's what happened. I mean, look, I worked there doing some pretty important work for them, and I didn't do most of my shopping there because I found stuff to be less expensive at another grocery store.
You've got Ollie's sitting right next door to Big Lots. Who are you gonna go into?
David says, "Don't piss off Jenny." It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next, right, and Ollie's was smart. They actually deliberately placed a lot of their stores right next to discount retailers like Big Lots, and now Big Lots is right on the edge of filing for bankruptcy. They haven't done it yet.
Again, we need people who will follow CEOs around with a plastic wiffle ball bat, and whenever they come up with a dumbass idea like this,
bop them on the back of the head.
Smack them on the back of the head, and say, "No, go back to your office."
You know what I've always advocated this, and when I am a high-level CEO, which is going to happen within the next year or so.
Oh, we see it coming.
It's obviously going to happen. So when I'm a high-level CEO, I will deliberately have somebody work in my company. Nobody's going to know who this person is, but this one person will have carte blanche to come to my office anytime, unannounced, and give me a talking to and say, "That's a dumbass idea. You should not do that."
Absolutely smartest thing. I cannot believe how stupid CEOs are becoming.
Well, it's because a lot of them are surrounded by yes men. People are, and it's not just a CEO thing, it's an executive thing. And I have nothing against executives, but unfortunately, most people, and executives, you have to realize this. If you don't realize this is happening to you, you got to wake up. Most executives are surrounded by people who are yes men. They'll follow them around and say, "That's a great idea." In the meantime, that's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
They're
gutless. And then that's their own fault, though. If they tell the executive that it's a horrible idea,
they'll get fired.
They're just going to fire them.
They'll fire you immediately.
And stupid. You need people to tell you when you're being dumb.
And that's the funny thing is executives that I've worked for that I really respect. I still respect these people. I know for a fact if somebody came up to them, even behind the scenes, and said, "That's a terrible idea. We cannot do that. There are 100 other ways we could accomplish the same thing that you're planning. That's a bad idea." That person, they might not be fired, but they would never be acknowledged as doing anything important ever again at the company.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. Even good executives that I respect. It's just the nature of the beast, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a shame.
Yeah.
You need to have an ego when you're on that level. But you need to be able to recognize when your ego's getting in your own way.
Well, something happens. I don't know at what point this happens, but something happens on the ladder up to where people lose touch. Because when you're lower level, you're like, "Oh, dude, I would never do something that dumb. I understand." You're grounded. You're like, you understand people who are around you in the company, and you're like, "Oh, I would never, make dumb decisions. I would never do this and this and this." And then at a certain level, they switch. The flip switches. The switch flips, something like one of those two things, and they lose touch with all of reality. And they think for some reason all employees want to have mandatory fun, and they want to have role playing as a training tool at the company, which nobody does. I know CEOs watch this company. Nobody wants to do that. They lose touch with reality, and I don't know when that happens. I'd like to find out, but I don't know at what point that happens.
You want to role play? Go out and talk to a customer.
Well, yeah. And I have a lot of stories about that too. I have a lot of stories that I won't share publicly.
You know, I hate and I'm scared of prepared elevator speeches. And we had to give one last semester in class. And
We've done a show on elevator pitches.
everybody looks at me as the salesperson in this class,
Uh-huh.
right? Like, and so before I got up, I said to the class, I said, I want to tell you before I do this elevator speech that I'm scared. I said, I'm getting up in front of all of you doing something I hate. I hate prepared elevator speeches. I said, now this is part of the homework. Now, I've done 100 of these things.
Mhm.
If I'm nervous, every one of you should be nervous too. It's okay. And so I got up nervous, you know, because you get up in front of people doing a prepared speech, I'm always going to be nervous.
It's difficult.
If I get up and just talk,
Yeah.
I'm fine.
That's what you should have done.
It's kind of, I started on my prepared speech and then I just jumped off.
And that's it. And that's why people with prepared speeches, it doesn't work. Your elevator pitch, you should have memorized inside and out, but at the same time, don't say it verbatim.
Right. You should believe in the concept enough that you can just say it.
Right. And we'll do, you know, we've done elevator pitch shows in the past. We'll do it again. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't say like this thing that you have scripted and these are the words that you're going to say.
Right.
No, just wing it because
Now,
you know the product.
I
You
will
know
say
what you
there
got to
are some
say.
people who have to do that. They're not natural salespeople, so they have to do it the way they were taught. But
I think
you can always tell the difference.
But you know what? I think it's easier for not natural salespeople to do it this way.
And
It's easier because if you're not a natural salesperson, you don't have it in you to be salesy. I'm not a natural salesperson, but if I know what I'm talking about, it's, you know, there's no question about it.
I say this in deference to one salesperson I met down in Cincinnati who was so by the book. Like, I jaywalked one day because I'm in a hurry and I'm a salesperson, and those lights don't apply to me right now.
Fair enough.
And she was so offended that I would jaywalk because she's like, you just broke the, and literally, like, you just broke the rules.
breaking the law.
And I'm like, we're salespeople. We don't have rules. And to her, she did. She had very clear rules, and her sales were amazing.
Yeah, well, she's
So
a person of high morals. Yeah, and some people have morals, Matt. That's all we can say.
Oh my God, they're so annoying.
People with morals are the worst.
Yeah. Oh, I stepped on a tooth. Ugh, please.
People with morals. You know, you shove your morals. All right, let's.
Up my tooth.
All right, number 3 is emotions. Trump features. Emotions trump features. And I don't use Trump. It's an actual word that I'm using, not a name. Emotions trump features. So in marketing, emotions often outweigh features and benefits.
I just learned that.
People connect with brands that evoke passions and feelings. Whether it's nostalgia, excitement, trust, all of it makes more sense to selling something than the features itself.
You've been trying to teach me this for years.
Well, I want to give you a couple prime examples. If you go on Instagram, and you don't have to, you don't open an account, but go to Instagram and look at, what are you looking at yourself in there?
No, I'm looking at what he said.
Oh, he says best Matt idea ever about the guy with the wiffle ball bat. So yeah, go to Instagram, look at Nike's Instagram page.
Okay.
Almost none of it is the shoes. Go to GoPro. Go to GoPro's Instagram. Almost none of it is their cameras. Almost all of it, in fact, will be adventure photos and people doing cool stuff and stunts and, you know, runners and athletes and, you know, this and that. They're not showing the product. They're showing emotion. They're not showing the benefits of their product. They're showing how you should feel when you think about their product. And that's super important. I'm actually going to start doing that myself. Honestly, I actually stopped posting for UnderdogPlus.com, Underdog Bones, on social because I had to limit sales because, like I said, I'm kind of at capacity right now.
I wish I'd known that. I've been posted on your account for you.
Thanks. That explains a lot, Matt. But one thing I'm scaling. So very soon I'm going to start posting a lot more. But I'm going to start posting more stuff like what Nike does and what GoPro does. Right. Of course, I'm right. But evoking that emotion, evoking how people should feel about your product. You know, when you think about Underdog Bones, you should think about awesome, cute puppies gobbling down these streets, or going on hikes with your dog, or a dog jumping in the water, and how you feel about your pet. And you can apply this to really any product, regardless of whether it's premium or not. Evoke that emotion that you want somebody to think about when they think about your brand or your product, and you are going to see your sales skyrocket.
All right, so I have a question. All right, so on Little Red Hen's photo page, I'm not the best looking. I'm incredibly handsome for a 55-year-old fat man.
I
Right?
was just thinking that about you.
So much better looking than Dave. I'll give me that.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
But I don't think anybody's going to look at me as a mascot on Little Red Hen's page.
Right.
So I avoid putting pictures of myself on there.
Sure.
So should I have a central theme going, or should I stick to just the general photography?
Well, so you need to. Okay, so we could do a whole show about the difference between a personal brand and a business brand.
Right.
And I think we should. Maybe we'll do that soon. With you, I would focus on the photography, but have a focus around what you want to evoke from your photography. So
Gotcha.
Why do people want photos?
I did that today.
Yeah, why do people want photos?
To capture memories.
Memories.
So it's like a time capsule.
Memories, time capsule, nostalgia.
But also to show, to brag. So they've accomplished something. They want to capture that moment.
Right, exactly. So don't post the photos, post the emotions.
Fucking A. Sorry. Freaking A.
Freaking A, man.
That's so... I'm going to actually write that down.
There you go.
My memory's so bad.
But it's true with everybody. It doesn't matter what your product is. I mean, you could sell, a widget that goes on somebody's, doohickey. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. But don't post necessarily the product. Post the emotion. Post what it's supposed to achieve. Of course it's smart.
I'm doing it tomorrow.
Do it, man. Do it.
Oh, I'm doing it.
Just do it. Don't sue me, Nike. I promise. I won't say that again.
Well, you have to get the cease and desist letter first.
That's true.
Yes.
In that case, Nike, don't do it. Don't do it. Nike, don't do it.
Or just don't do it.
Just don't do it, Nike.
Right. And Dave, I've changed. It is not gallbladder. It is now prostate's too easy. It's gallbladder.
Prostate's too easy. I mean, that's an obvious one.
Yeah. Dave, if you could clarify, is it gallbladder or infected big toe? That would be great.
I think infected big toe. I'm sticking with big toe.
I would really wish it would be nice if he would acknowledge it. What do you say?
He says, "Keep your widgets away from my doohickey."
Oh God!
There you
that's
go.
him saying it's gallbladder.
His doohickey. I think he's leaving hints. He said widgets away from his doohickey. He posted the
oh God, it's not prostate.
the eggplants earlier. It might be prostate.
Yeah, it might be prostate.
Maybe prostate. He's at that age. He's an aging man. He says neither. So we'll go with that. We'll leave David's. We don't want to break any HIPAA laws on this show. We like to stick to the regulatory limits.
That is a good idea. What's the next marketing thing?
What do you mean next marketing thing?
You're on your list.
That was it. We only had 3.
That's it?
You don't understand how long it takes to get through 3 bullet points with David.
Oh, that is true. Do you ever notice when he gets, like as the show goes on, he gets hammered, how chatty he gets? He is like a chatty Cathy doll. Just pulls that string, but the string doesn't go back in. It just kind of hangs there.
Well, we have our random rants. It's the joy of this show.
No, I'm not saying in a bad way. It's amazing to watch.
Because
he rarely breathes.
It is something to behold.
He takes one huge, massive breath in his massive lungs, and then just for an hour talks without inhaling.
See, David, are you sorry you missed this show, David?
It was amazing.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, so next week is our 400th episode.
Get out.
400 episodes in a row. We haven't missed any. And I'm going to go to New York. We're going to be New York live. Live from New York, it's Underdog Plus.
I'm surprised you're going to go back to Boston.
Well, we're going back to his hometown. We're going to go to a cigar. Probably going to be live from a cigar lounge. I don't know all the details yet.
You're going to New York.
I'm going to New York. And yeah, he came here for our No, I'm not 400 episodes. What am I talking about? 400 4 years, not 4.
Now listen, his house is entirely...
He's correcting me. I've been the one drinking tonight, David. Not 400th episode. 4 years. Okay, so
4 years.
I was getting it confused because our 200th episode
was just a
little while ago, and he came here. That was our 200th episode. Our 4 years is coming up next week. 4 years.
Dave's house is entirely made of windows, so you need to be careful where you're looking because Nikki might be changing. So just Just
I'll be on the wing of his house that nobody uses.
good.
It's right above the third garage and the second wine cellar.
Yeah.
So I'll be over there.
That's a nice wing.
I will actually be trying on all of his monocles.
Oh, they're so nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus his butler. Oh my God, this is the friendliest person you'll ever.
Mr.
meet.
Belvedere, I've heard.
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
a wonderful
super friendly.
old
Nice
British guy.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
It's he's nice.
Yep.
He's nice.
Yeah. Tug on his beard. He loves that.
David or the butler?
The butler. He
Oh,
thinks
got
it's
it.
hilarious.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say David. I don't know.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anyway, David, are you sorry you missed the show? It's been exciting.
So excited. I'm seriously gonna do that tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Now,
saying.
Because I know that certain people are looking at my electrical work right now, so
Mhm.
I've been bolstering some electrical prints I've been putting on.
Sure.
But today, as I was doing it, I made a connection
Mhm.
as I was typing out sort of an little mini artist statement or project statement. And just through that action, though, I made this connection that from a single cardiac cell to galaxies being formed, these electrical impulses they're all connected.
Yeah.
Or not connected. They're connected in their visual appearance.
Yeah.
It's a freaking amazing. So I'm trying to branch off on that thought process,
Sure.
which I can do because it invokes feelings.
Well, and the thing is your electrical stuff. So for those who don't know, one of Matt's projects that he works on is creating photographs by exposing light sensitive paper to electricity in different ways. And some of your photos do evoke emotions.
Yeah.
Some of them really do. Like the one that looked like a forest,
Yeah.
in like with mist.
Yes.
It was amazing, but it was just all electricity
Yep.
that produced that.
That's my $10,000 print.
That could sell for $10,000.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, if you
I'm selling for $10,000.
and it was like real like wide, right? If you
Yeah.
printed that out to be like 6 feet wide,
Yeah, I have it planned for 4 foot, but I can go 6 foot.
I would go as big as possible.
Yeah.
I could honestly see that in like a millionaire's like living room. It was nuts. It was really
I
good.
would love to see it printed big on glass.
Yeah.
Because it looks so good when there's light coming through it.
Oh yeah.
That's how I originally did it, was in a light box.
Sure.
But it was, a foot long. It was 24 inches long.
Mhm. That's
so
2 feet.
2 feet. I go to art school. I don't gotta be good.
It was like it was a foot long. It was like 38 inches. It was.
But just so it's amazing. It's amazing the process. It's amazing the results. I've really started pushing.
So what is your website? What's your Instagram? Go ahead and plug.
It is Little Red Hen Photography, and Instagram is photography Little Red Hen.
There you go.
Yeah,
and it's good work. It's honestly, regardless of what we say about Matt when he's not here, his work is really good.
Especially even when I'm here.
Yeah, especially when he's here, we talk good things about him. But it is,
Yeah, and I recently revamped the website.
Oh, cool.
I removed all the old photos and put in all new stuff because I took personal vision this semester, and they talked about your portfolio.
Yeah.
So I built it more towards a portfolio. I have a nude, semi-nude section that is password protected.
Good. Okay.
Yes.
Good.
I wrote the password down because I've already forgotten.
I would actually recommend going back and looking at your website and doing the same thing with your website. Also, post the emotions, not necessarily the photographs. And also, when you're creating captions for the different sections, make them emotional. Make the words as emotive as the photo itself, and make people really feel it.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
One of the things I was told to do was create your portfolio like a symphony. So one photo flows into the other photo.
It's a story.
The other photos. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I recently I was talking with the Ballet Met about doing some photos for them, and it wound up falling through. Nobody signed up because it was too expensive. And that's fine. But it was interesting because I had to approach it because these kids are under 18. And so you can't post those on social media.
Right.
So I let them know that I wouldn't post it on social media, but they would be in my printed portfolio.
Okay.
Which I'm a lot more comfortable with that than.
Right.
But that's something to consider is when you're photographing someone who's underage, you can't.
No.
You shouldn't be putting that on the web.
Right. There are a lot of things that you got to keep in mind, especially as a photographer.
Wearing a parka with overalls down to their ankles.
Right.
Don't post it.
Yeah, unless you get special permission from the parents, you can't do anything with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And being a dad, you're a dad. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, you're right.
I'd have a problem.
You're totally right. So, but yeah, so those were the 3 marketing secrets that that they never tell you. But the more psychological, really related to branding than marketing, kind of a crossover there in this case. But yeah, so brand over product, price perception matters, and emotion over features.
I think for most of your audience, though, that pricing is going to be the primary one.
Right.
Brand over product, it really matters when you get. Maybe I'm wrong, but I picture it being a lot bigger. But that pricing, you've got to have the guts to
Price appropriately.
Appropriately or higher.
Well, I mean, so it's rough because it's a balancing act. You want to position yourself as a premium product to begin with, like David said. But at the same time, you need to balance with what your customers expect from you. Do they expect a lower price, or is that how you're positioning yourself to begin with? You need to consider, what's your time worth. If you're producing this stuff and you're selling a ton of them, but you calculate it out and you're only pulling down, $8 an hour.
Yep.
Is it worth it? Probably not. You need to raise your prices so you can actually survive. Otherwise, what are you doing here?
I remember my dad had a garden center with landscaping, and he was huge.
Mm-hmm.
And he took on the McDonald's franchise, which had 11 stores.
Mm-hmm.
And he serviced them for almost 4 or 5 years. And he wound up dropping them because the profit margin just wasn't there.
Right.
He couldn't make enough money to justify the amount of labor.
Yeah.
I mean, he was making money, but not within so he could make more money doing an individual house.
Right.
Than he could taking care of these McDonald's. And it was a really hard decision for him, but it was one that eventually he made, and it was good for his business.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that you find as you become, the person who's an entrepreneur running your own business. Mm-hmm. You got to get good at math.
Yep.
Get good at doing the calculations. What's this costing me versus what am I making out of it? Because at a certain point, you got to realize, oh, this is actually costing me money. You feel like you're busy. You feel like you're working all the time. And yeah, checks are coming in, but you also have to pay for all this other stuff.
Right.
There's other stuff involved. You might be in the red afterwards.
We have a real estate friend who just got $1 million listing.
Mm.
So the house is worth $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
So my wife was asking what her commission would be on this place.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave her the average, 3% or 6%, depending on if she's the buyer and seller agent. But you don't know the amount that goes into the cost.
Right.
And 3% of $1 million seems like a lot. But if you're having to spend 1% of that on advertising,
yeah, right.
A lot of money goes out.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got to compensate for that.
That's it. That's exactly it.
Yep.
That's one of the dangerous parts about having a product and trying to sell a product. Like dog treats. The packaging, the stamp, the stickers that with all the labels and stuff, the ingredients that goes into it. I mean, it's more than just me making these treats and selling them. There's a lot involved that most people don't consider. The molds, the this and the that, and the website. It's not paying for itself.
Yep.
It's stuff gets expensive, and these are things you have to consider, especially when it comes to pricing your product appropriately.
One of the other things probably is too deep for right now, but maybe at another show is you have to deal with your spouse dealing with these treats. So,
yeah.
And that literally is a big deal.
It is.
You have to sell your spouse on the concept. Because if she's not behind you,
it's true.
You can still do it, but it's hell on earth for everybody.
It's true. Most spouses, we'll say that, most spouses do not like, or at least not super comfortable with, the risk involved in leaving a really well-paying corporate job with health insurance and benefits and that biweekly paycheck to go and make dog treats that people may or may not buy. It's a risk, and not everybody is willing to take that risk.
When I became an independent contractor with Aflac, which you're independent contractors, so straight commission, there would be, especially that first year, was a struggle. Yeah. And she hated every second of it. I had gone from a corporate job to this. Right. I would come home and there would be one ads on the counter. I did risk work 12 hours, and there's one ads on the counter, and I want to scream at this point. Yeah. So after the first year, when I wound up getting promoted, I sat her down with my boss. Well, we didn't have bosses, but with the
Right.
equivalent of a boss, and we had dinner together. And we went over my marketing plan, the three of us,
Mm-hmm.
and she had to buy into it, or we weren't doing it.
Yeah, it's smart.
And that really helped. And with her support, then I was actually able to go out and bring in the income. But that first year, I'm struggling against customers. I'm struggling against all the no's. I'm struggling against the work, the other agents who are fighting against me,
Mm-hmm.
and going home and fighting with my wife.
Yeah.
You got to get your wife or your spouse, whoever,
Right.
on board.
Yeah, and I mean, luckily, my current wife is she's pretty supportive.
God, she's so understanding.
She's pretty supportive.
She's ridiculous.
But there are times when she's like, "Look, I'm worried about money and stuff," and I have to reinforce, like, it's a struggle. It's a risk, but it's a risk that we need to be willing to take if we're going to do this together. We need to take the risk together, and those are conversations you have to have. Yeah, and it's not for everybody.
Yeah, that could be a whole show.
That could be a whole. I mean, that could be a whole podcast on its own.
Yeah,
multiple
bring Becky
shows.
down here and let her just go off.
About how she stepped on your old dead gross tooth in the shower. Yeah.
So Dave, I'm sure has a lot to say. Although Nikki has just been blindly supportive. Like, Dave walks on water for some. I think he has some blackmail material on her.
That's the only reason she would stick around.
Really,
is
the only thing I can make that makes sense.
Right.
She's so much better than him.
Right. I mean, everybody tells her that.
Like, next level better. Like, Nikki, you can do better.
It's true. Look, as soon as both of their kids are out of the house, I'm sure she's gone.
That's why he works so hard.
to keep her around.
Keep her happy.
Well, he's trying to pay for her Disney addiction. Is what it is. We all know.
Every time they raise their prices, he's like, Jesus Christ, I got to work more hours.
That's exactly.
Which is why he's in the hospital now.
I got to sell more of these widgets.
Stroke. He's having a small.
It's a
stroke. That's why he's doing.
It's a stroke.
Emojis. He's confused.
That could be. Maybe you and he could run for president together.
Yeah.
President, vice president.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
He'd be vice president.
Oh, he'd be vice.
Oh, his brain is going so much faster than mine, and mine's going pretty fast.
Do you think he would take orders from you?
He wouldn't know any better.
Fair enough.
At this point, remember, I'm 90 at this point, which makes him what, 89?
Fair enough.
How old is he?
He's got to be pushing 75.
No, I mean Dave.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I can see that. Yeah, he's 75.
He's pushing 75. He looks good for his age, but he's pushing 75.
He's got the ED going.
I'm not even considering anything along those lines. That's none of my.
Plants. He's trying to remember.
That is none of anyone's business. None of anyone's business.
Did you ever see that American Dad episode where Stan, the main character, was having problems with that?
No.
And Francine says maybe you should take ginkgo biloba so you remember what it's like to get one.
Ooh, that's rough.
I'm done with that.
That's a good one. No, I was thinking about the Family Guy episode where Peter had a stroke, and he's on the. That was a stroke. That was see Family Guy. That's where it's at.
That really is.
That's the funny one.
Yeah.
All right. Look, we've been going for a while. We've been making fun of David for a while, and it's probably time to wrap it up. So next week, I will be live in New York with David for our not 400th episode. That was a typo. For our 4-year without missing a single episode in New York next week.
Provided he lives through this.
If he lives through his infected big toe,
With the bright computers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he lives through his infected big toe, then I'll be in New York. If not, I'll be coming to you live from David's funeral. That would be a good live stream.
Oh, it really would be.
That would. David, I need in writing permission to do stream live from your funeral.
You could have like a mini cam on the casket as it lowers down.
We'll have like a GoPro inside.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's incredible.
Just streaming the whole thing.
Oh, David, I'm pulling for you, but if it goes the other way, there's a benefit there.
Right. I'm telling you, there's a show in that. There's a show in that idea.
Yeah.
So look, I've been Wes. This guy's been Matt. That guy who used to be in this area used to be David, and he's out with an infected big toe and or a stroke. We will see you guys next time. Later.
funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood. I felt full cause the funkin' was good. Funk you in the city, funk you up in the woods. Funkin' up the neighborhood. Funkin' up the neighborhood.